Civil resistance and the paradox of sentencing for insurrection in South Korea. This video focuses on the fact that the failure of the insurrection was due to civic resistance and the passive response of the military and police, and raises the question of how this fact should be reflected in sentencing for the crime of insurrection.
성경을 읽는다는 이유로 촛불을 훔칠 수는 없습니다.
1. The cause of the insurrection's failure. It is a widely accepted assessment that the December 3rd insurrection failed not because the defendant voluntarily halted it, but because of civic resistance and the passive response of the military and police. This implies that the insurrection was thwarted by external intervention. 2. The relationship between failure and criminal responsibility. Whether an insurrection succeeds or fails is not a matter of the establishment of the crime but rather a matter of the degree of its outcome. Therefore, the mere fact that it failed cannot by itself justify a lighter responsibility. In particular, if the failure resulted from civic resistance, this may indicate not that the offender posed a low level of danger, but rather that the danger had already materialized. 3. The issue of concrete justice in sentencing. Sentencing is not a simple calculation but must take into account the totality of concrete circumstances. In crimes as serious as insurrection, both the process of execution and the process of civic resistance must be considered. In particular, the role and significance of civic resistance need to be fully evaluated and explained. 4. The issue of persuasiveness in judicial decisions. If civic resistance was the decisive factor in the failure of the insurrection, then it should be persuasively demonstrated how that fact was reflected in the assessment of criminal responsibility. Otherwise, it may leave the impression that the role of citizens was excluded from the legal evaluation, which in turn may give rise to renewed debates over the legitimacy of the judgment. You cannot steal a candle just because you are delivering a judgment.